This Halloween special episode is brought to you by the letter B, as in, be careful what you wish for, and the number 4, as in, be afraid of the 4th dimension. Our story begins with a group of 4 friends renting a van for a Halloween road trip. Half drunk on bravado and ghost tours TikToks, they resolve to hit America's most infamous haunted stops in one night. First stop, Sleepy Hollow. It's late afternoon, and the friends are walking the old cemetery as dusk settles. The air smells like wet leaves and distant hoofbeats echo from nowhere. A carved headstone seems to tilt toward them as if listening. Sleepy Hollow is famous from Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. They hit the road again, driving through rain that falls sideways. By the time they arrive in Salem as twilight comes, the town looks normal. But the street lamps blur into halos, and every framed portrait in the museum S windows shows eyes that blink when you're not looking. A child's laughter threads down empty lanes. Salem is the site of the 1692 witch trials, and its historical resonance runs deep. On the highway, the GPS glitches. Mile markers count down into negative numbers, and a fog rolls in that smells faintly of old paper and steel. Time thins. Their watch hands lag. The van's radio plays a distant, impossible waltz that none of them recognizes. But they know that tune. They heard it earlier in Sleepy Hollow. Before they can talk about it, the GPS announces they've arrived at their next stop, Alcatraz at night. The friends find themselves pulled to the shattered silhouette of the island against the bruised sky. The island's lights stutter, and the sea around it goes glass, black. Through the broken windows of its cell blocks, they see not prisoners, but rows of empty bunks rocking slowly as if someone invisible walked the aisles. Every whispered name they call echoes back in a different voice. Alcatraz was once a notorious federal penitentiary, and its fame as a landmark continues today. They've been driving for hours, and dawn never fully arrives. Instead, the sky over. Next sight, Gettysburg, is an unnatural gray that presses the world flat. The battlefield's monuments cast long, curving shadows that don't match the light. The friends hear faint drilling and the distant murmur of commands that belong to another century. It's as if the battle is looping in the mist. When one of them steps on a patch of grass, it hums like a struck wire, and the taste of metal floods their mouths. Gettysburg National Military Park is the site of one of the most pivotal battles of the Civil War. But now, each location isn't separate anymore. The friends see Sleepy Hollow's fog slipping into Salem's cobblestones. Alcatraz's barred windows hang over Gettysburg memorials like rusted eyelids. Small details turn wrong. Reflections lag. Shadows move without owners, and the same silhouette crosses every skyline at different scales. Paranoia fractures the group. One friend insists they must leave immediately. Another becomes transfixed by a distant figure in a doorway that appears simultaneously in each town. When one of them reaches out to touch that figure, the skin of the figure's hand feels like cold pondweed. No one sees a face, only the pressure of attention. The road back loops like a Mobius strip. Gas stations appear closed, though their lights are on. Maps redraw themselves. Their phone photos all show an extra person standing at the edge of every frame, always just beyond the group. always older than time, always looking directly at the viewer when the photo is enlarged. Finally, just as they think they've escaped, they pull into a motel parking lot. As they unbuckle, the radio cuts to static, then a broadcast of themselves arguing in the van, playing in perfect, delayed echo. The last line they hear is their own voice on the air whispering, "You shouldn't have come to put our night back together." The van doors lock on their own. The camera, a shaky vlog, one of them captures frame by frame the motel's neon sign melting into letters that spell one word, stay. Weeks later, families watch the friends' abandoned van footage online. Viewers report the video ends one frame too long. The last frame shows a fifth figure standing behind the driver's seat, hands folded and patient. When people pause the frame, their own reflections appear in the darkened windshield behind that figure. The